All right, so get this. You know how powerful AI is usually stuck in the cloud, right? Needing tons of computing power.
Right.
But imagine having that same incredible AI
Mm-hmm.
running right on your own computer.
Yeah.
That's what we're diving into today.
Okay.
This revolutionary open source project
All right.
called llamafile.
Okay.
And you actually sent this over to us.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, just thinking about the possibilities, it's blowing my mind.
It's pretty remarkable. What's so fascinating about llamafile is that it's all about making large language models.
Okay.
Those powerful AI brains we call LLMs, accessible to everyone.
Got it.
No more needing those expensive servers or specialized knowledge. You could have cutting-edge AI right at your fingertips.
Okay, so I'm picturing some kind of magic file, but how does that actually work?
Yeah.
What exactly is a llama file?
Think of it like downloading an app on your phone.
Right.
But instead of opening a game or social media,
Right.
you're launching a full-blown LLM right on your computer.
Oh.
And the coolest part
Is that it works on pretty much any computer you can think of, Mac Windows, even those less common ones like BSD. Just download the file and you're ready to go.
So it's like having a supercomputer crammed into a tiny file that anyone can use.
Pretty much.
That's insane. But hold on, aren't these LLMs huge?
Mm-hmm.
How can all of that fit into a single file?
That's the brilliance of it.
Okay.
Llama files combine the AI model's weights, which is where all the learning is stored,
Okay.
with the llama.cpp code, the engine that makes it all run. They use some really clever tricks to package it all up. Think embedding those massive weights into a ZIP archive right inside the file itself.
So it's like a self-extracting file of AI brilliance.
Yeah.
You're telling me someone can just double-click this llama file and boom, they're running state-of-the-art AI on their laptop.
Pretty much.
Wow.
And that's why it's such a game changer. It bypasses all of those technical hurdles and the need for powerful cloud computing,
Yeah.
making this incredible technology available to anyone with a computer, regardless of their technical skills. Okay, I'm starting to get the why this is a big deal part,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm still trying to wrap my head around what you can actually do with this.
Sure.
The material you sent mentions something called LLV.
Right.
What's that all about?
LLV is a perfect example of what's possible with llama files. It's an AI model that goes beyond just understanding text.
Hmm.
It can actually analyze images, too.
What?
Imagine uploading a photo to your computer and this AI running locally thanks to llamafile.
Okay.
Tells you all about what it sees. The objects, the context, maybe even the emotions being conveyed. It's like having a super-powered visual assistant right there on your desktop.
Whoa, that's next level stuff.
Yeah.
I can see how that could be incredibly useful for all sorts of things, from helping people with visual impairments to automatically tagging and organizing photos.
Absolutely.
But what about really large models?
Yeah.
Do they all fit neatly into these self-contained files?
Well, it's amazing to have everything bundled together.
Right.
Sometimes practicality calls for a slightly different approach. For really large models, especially on systems with file size limits, like some versions of Windows, you might need to use external weights.
So it's like having a base station that can connect to these extra powerful modules if needed. But doesn't that kind of defeat the purpose of having everything in a single file?
Not really.
Okay.
It's still incredibly convenient because the core functionality is in that single llama file. Think of it like having a powerful engine in your car. You can add upgrades and modifications,
Okay.
but the core power is already there.
Okay, that makes sense. It's like having the foundation already built.
Exactly.
You can expand upon it as needed.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of power, what about GPUs?
Right.
Don't these AI models usually need a ton of graphical processing power to run smoothly?
You're absolutely right. GPUs can make a huge difference in how quickly these models can process information.
Yeah.
And the incredible thing about llamafile is that it can actually utilize GPUs from different vendors like Apple, NVIDIA, and AMD to speed things up.
Wait, so it can tap into my graphics card like the one I use for gaming?
And really?
And get this, it can even compile the code needed for the GPU on the fly if necessary.
Whoa.
It's like having a built-in mechanic that can reconfigure your car's engine to work with any type of fuel you throw at it.
Some serious technical wizardry. It sounds like llamafile is designed to be as adaptable as possible.
It is.
So if I wanted to create my own custom llamafile
Yeah.
with a specific model and maybe some personalized settings, could I actually do that?
You absolutely could.
Yeah.
The process is surprisingly straightforward. You package the desired model weights with the llamafile code,
Okay.
set your preferred arguments, and there you have it, your very own personalized LLM ready to share with the world.
Wow, it's amazing how customizable and shareable this all is.
It is.
But with all this power at our fingertips, doesn't security become a concern? That's a crucial point, and the developers of llamafile have been very mindful of it. They've built in sandboxing features that limit what the AI can access on your computer and network. It's like giving the AI a secure playground where it can run and do its thing without having free reign over your entire system.
So it's kind of like a virtual fence that keeps the AI contained and prevents it from causing any mischief.
Exactly.
That's definitely reassuring.
Mm-hmm.
But what if the llama file itself comes from a source that's not so trustworthy?
You bring up a really important consideration.
Yeah.
While the sandboxing helps protect you once the llama file is running,
Right.
the source of the file itself matters.
Okay.
It's like making sure the ingredients for your meal are fresh and safe before you start cooking.
Right.
You can have the best kitchen in the world, but if you start with spoiled ingredients, the outcome won't be good.
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
So it's all about being cautious about where you download these llama files from and making sure they're from reputable sources.
Absolutely.
Okay, I think we've covered what a llama file is,
Okay.
how it magically packs all that AI power into a single file,
All right?
and even touched on some security aspects.
Yeah.
But how does it actually manage to run so smoothly on all these different types of computers? That's what's really blowing my mind.
Well, hold on to your hat because we're about to dive into the technical heart of llamafile. We'll uncover how it manages to be so incredibly adaptable and efficient, even on older or less powerful machines.
All right, I'm ready to get into the nitty-gritty.
Yeah.
Let's see what makes this incredible AI engine tick.
Let's do it. Let's unpack how llamafile manages to run so seamlessly on different computers. You know how computers have different brains or CPUs
Right.
that process information? Well, some are better at certain tasks than others.
So like having a team of specialists,
Exactly.
each with their own unique skills.
Yeah.
You wouldn't send a plumber to do electrical wiring, right?
Exactly. And llamafile is like a super smart project manager that knows exactly which specialist to call for each job.
Good.
It identifies the type of CPU it's running on and then picks the most efficient code path for that particular architecture.
So whether you're running a cutting-edge gaming rig or a more, shall we say, vintage laptop llama file, knows how to make the most of what it's got.
Precisely. It's like having a personal trainer for your computer helping it achieve peak performance no matter its age or fitness level.
I love that analogy.
Yeah.
But what about different operating systems?
Right.
That always seems to be the biggest headache when it comes to compatibility. Isn't that a whole other challenge for llama file?
It definitely can be.
Yeah.
But llamafile has a secret weapon up its sleeve.
Okay.
The Cosmopolitan Libre. Think of it like a universal translator for operating systems.
Okay.
It lets the same code run on macOS, Windows, Linux, BSDs, you name it,
Wow.
all from a single build.
So it's like that fictional babblefish from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy that lets you understand any language.
Exactly. It breaks down those communication barriers between different operating systems, allowing llamafile to run smoothly no matter where it lands.
That's incredible. So for developers, this means they don't have to create separate versions of their AI
Right.
for each operating system.
Yeah,
They can just build it once and let llamafile handle the rest.
you got it. It streamlines the whole development process,
Right.
making it easier to share these amazing AI models with the world. It's a win-win for both creators and users.
Okay, I'm starting to grasp just how powerful and versatile llamafile is. We've talked about CPUs, operating systems,
Right.
but there's one more piece of the puzzle I'm really curious about.
Sure.
GPUs.
Right.
You mentioned how llamafile can leverage these powerful graphics cards to speed up AI processing.
Yeah.
But can you break down how that actually works?
Let's delve into the world of GPUs. For
Mhm.
instance, on a Mac with Apple Silicon,
Okay.
llamafile can actually compile a little piece of code on the fly
Okay.
that lets it tap into the Metal GPU framework Apple's system for handling graphics.
Wait, it can write its own code on the fly? That's wild.
Yeah.
It's like it has a built-in programmer that adapts to whatever hardware it encounters.
It's pretty remarkable. And it does this seamlessly. The very first time you run a llamafile on a Mac with Apple Silicon, it even remembers what it did so that future runs are even smoother. And if you have an NVIDIA or AMD graphics card, you can simply use a command line option
Okay.
to unleash their full potential for faster AI processing.
So it's like a chameleon blending into any GPU environment it finds itself in. That's super cool.
Really is. And for Windows users, there are pre-built modules that make it even easier to take advantage of their NVIDIA or AMD GPUs. But for those who like to tinker, llamafile can even detect if you have advanced developer tools installed and use them to optimize performance even further.
It's like it has a sixth sense for finding ways to supercharge itself. But even with all this optimization, what happens if for some reason the GPU isn't accessible? Does everything just grind to a halt?
Not at all.
Okay.
The llamafile is incredibly resilient. If it can't use the GPU,
Right.
it gracefully falls back to using the CPU instead. It's like having a backup generator that kicks in when the power goes out, ensuring the AI keeps running no matter what.
So it's adaptable, efficient, and reliable.
Mm-hmm.
What more could you ask for? It sounds like the developers have really thought of everything.
They've certainly put a lot of care into making llamafile as robust and user-friendly as possible.
Yeah.
But it's important to remember that while llamafile itself is incredibly secure and well-designed, the source of the file matters.
Right. It's like that saying, garbage in, garbage out. Even the most advanced system can be compromised if you feed it bad data or code.
Exactly. Downloading a llamafile from an uncrusted source could be risky. It might not have the same security features, or could even contain malicious code.
So it's essential to treat llama files like any other software you download.
Oh,
Be cautious about the source scan for viruses and stick to reputable websites or repositories.
absolutely.
All right, I think I'm starting to get a good handle on how LlamaFile manages to be so compatible and adaptable. But there's one more thing I'm really curious about. How does it actually pack all that AI power into a single portable file?
That's where the real magic happens.
Yeah.
It involves some very clever use of techniques like memory mapping and a surprising twist on a familiar file format, the ZIP archive.
Okay, now you've got my attention. Memory mapping and ZIP archives. That doesn't sound like typical AI stuff. I'm ready to dive into the technical details and see what makes this single file marvel possible.
Yeah.
All right, we're about to uncover the secret sauce of LlamaFile memory mapping and ZIP archives.
Right.
Those sound more like things I'd use to organize my computer than run cutting-edge AI.
You'd be surprised how these everyday tools can be repurposed for some pretty amazing feats.
Right.
Let's start with memory mapping. Think of it as creating a virtual shortcut,
Okay.
allowing the llama file to access the data stored in those large weight files
Right.
without having to physically copy everything into the computer's memory.
So it's like having a magic portal that instantly connects to the information needed no matter where it's physically stored.
Exactly. And this is essential for making llama files so portable. Remember, these AI models can have huge AIE weight files.
Yeah, they can.
By using memory mapping, llama file can run even on computers with limited RAM. No need to upgrade your hardware just to experience the power of AI.
That's a game changer for accessibility.
It is.
But you also mentioned ZIP archives.
Right.
What role do those play in this whole setup?
This is where things get really ingenious.
Okay.
llamafile actually embeds those massive LLM weight files into a ZIP archive right inside the executable file itself.
Wait, so it's not just compressing the files like I would to email a bunch of photos.
It's more than that.
There's something more sophisticated happening here.
You're catching on. It's not just about saving space, it's about making those weights instantly accessible to both the CPU and the GPU.
Right.
Without needing to unpack or copy anything. This keeps things blazing fast and incredibly efficient.
It's like having a self-extracting AI superpower ready to go at a moment's notice.
Pretty much.
But how does it make sure these embedded ZIP files can be read by any standard ZIP program? Wouldn't that create compatibility issues?
That's where the ZIP64 format comes in.
Okay.
It's a standard that supports larger file sizes,
Gotcha.
ensuring that these supersized llama files can still be accessed and managed like regular ZIP archives.
So it's sticking to widely used standards while simultaneously doing this incredibly innovative thing.
Yeah,
It's like speaking a universal language, but with a unique accent.
I like that.
This blend of established practices and cutting-edge techniques is what makes LlamaFile so remarkably adaptable.
It really is.
But we've talked a lot about storage and access.
Mm-hmm.
How does it handle the different ways CPUs process information? You mentioned different architectures earlier.
Right, it's like having different dialects of a language. llamafile tackles this challenge with a combination of code optimization
Yeah.
and something called runtime dispatching. It figures out which dialect the CPU speaks and then chooses the most efficient way to communicate with it.
So it's like having an interpreter that instantly translates the LlamaFile into the language understood by the specific CPU. That's impressive. But doesn't that mean creating different versions of the LlamaFile for each CPU architecture?
It could, but llamafile is even smarter than that.
Okay.
It actually bundles the most common CPU architectures,
Yeah.
AMD 64 and ARM 64 together,
Uh-huh.
and uses a special shell script to determine which one is needed and launch the appropriate version.
It's like having a bilingual brain able to switch between different processing styles seamlessly.
Hmm.
This is getting pretty deep into the technical weeds.
Yeah.
But I have to ask, how does all of this work with different operating systems? That seems like the ultimate compatibility challenge.
You're right. Operating systems can be like completely different worlds.
For sure.
But that's where Cosmopolitan LibGA comes in, acting as a universal translator, allowing the same code to run flawlessly on a wide range of operating systems, from macOS and Windows to Linux and various flavors of BSD.
It's like having a passport that grants you access to the entire world of computing no matter where you come from.
I like that analogy.
This is incredible. It feels like we've uncovered the inner workings of a truly revolutionary technology.
It is exciting, isn't it?
Absolutely.
And it's not just about the technical achievements.
Yeah.
It's about the possibilities that llamafile opens up, the potential for anyone, anywhere to explore and utilize the power of AI.
It's truly democratizing access to this incredible technology. I'm left with a sense of awe and excitement for the future of AI, and a huge thanks to you for being such a fantastic guide through this intricate world.
The pleasure was all mine. Keep exploring, keep asking questions. Who knows what incredible discoveries await us in the ever-evolving landscape of AI?
Well said. To all our listeners out there, never stop learning and keep those curious minds engaged. We'll catch you on our next deep dive into the fascinating frontiers of knowledge.